I'm addicted to this book. This review is not an exaggeration. Millie, do you not like the picture of Dorian Gray? You're giving it incredible side eye. And I'm tired of putting books off. We're actually in my reading corner today, shockingly. So, welcome. Procrastination has gotten to me, okay? And mainly with reading. There's a handful of books that are especially bad for my procrastination. And when I say procrastination, I mean books I've started and not finished, or books that I've picked up, put bookmarks in, put annotation supplies in, taken the dust jacket off, set them out to read them, and then never started them. So, I think today we need to address that finally. This week, that's what we're addressing. This is the big mama of the video. This is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. Now I am like 30% of the way or 20% of the way through this book. I'm on page 225. And I have been reading this book for probably the majority of 2025. I need to finish this book before the year ends. This is embarrassing. Seeing as this is number 1 on the list, it's my biggest priority. I'm going to start with this one. So I did pick smaller books for the other ones because this is fully like 700 pages. So I'm scared of this one, to be honest with you. And I have been, and that's why I've been procrastinating it. And then the second worst one on my list. I'm actually really excited about this book. That's the crazy part. This is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. I have been so excited for this book. And so like 3 months ago, I took the dust jacket off, got it out. I literally put a bookmark and annotation supplies in it because I was like ready and rearing to go and I was gonna read this book. Then I didn't. Then it sat out for weeks. Then I didn't touch it. Then I put it back on the bookshelf till right now. And my boyfriend did just read this and he said it's amazing and really good. I think he gave it 5 stars. So I'm feeling like this is doable and I know I'm gonna love it because it's John Green. And John Green's nonfiction and John Green's take on social and political issues is everything to me. So, and then last but not least, I have The Picture of Dorian Gray, obviously Oscar Wilde. This one is also one I picked up, took off the shelf, was gonna read, but like at some point I had a bookmark in here. At one point I loaned this out to my sister and she read the whole thing and then loaned it back or like gave it back to me. So like I've been lapped. So my goal is to get to this one as well. But my biggest thing is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. Like, let's get so for real. However, this one's also a little shorty guy. So that's why I felt like I could add it to the TBR for this video and it would be doable. I don't know, we'll see. We have to start somewhere. And Magnolia Park's is where we have to start, unfortunately. I don't know why I'm saying unfortunately. It's like, I love the book. But it's so emotional and it's so like, it's just a lot to read. And I am bad about actually reading them. And I have been always throughout the whole series. Bad about putting them off, even though I love them and they're like 5-star reads. I don't understand. I don't. That's fine, whatever. I am back, same spot, different day. I did start jumping back into Magnolia Parks. I am currently on page 300, so I'm like that far in now. So I have made a good like 80 pages of progress, I think. And I will say it's easier to read now that I've like officially jumped back in. Like now that I'm keeping up with what's going on better and remembering what I read prior, like it's coming back to me and it's getting easier to jump back in. Like it doesn't feel as daunting, I think, which was like the biggest thing with this book. Like it felt scary. I was scared to start this, or not start it, but like continue it, to like read it. I still am scared because I don't know what's gonna happen with Magnolia and BJ, and that scares me. And I'm scared that my love for Magnolia Parks will wane as well the more I read. And it is getting a little like, okay, can these people grow up type of thing? And maybe that's mean to say, because like there's a lot going on with them. It is a little like, can we be mature? Anyways, this is what I'm working on currently. Still working on it. Will be for another hot while. Hello. I have shed a tear recently, so don't mind that. But don't worry, it wasn't unrelated to the video. it was because I was reading Magnolia Parks. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. It's not gonna be super spoilery, but if you don't wanna know anything ever about this book, then I probably wouldn't listen. I am like halfway through, a little over halfway through, and I think it was slow for me at the beginning because I wasn't seeing the change that I had imagined I was gonna see in the book. I wasn't seeing the behavior change that I had imagined was going to happen. And I think finally I am seeing that at the like 400 page mark, and that is like saving it for me. And so now I'm like actually invested in it and back with the box set. You know, I'm really trying to get a lot of reading done this weekend because this is a chunker of a book and I just cannot leave the year of 2025 without having finished it. And I, like at this point, dragging it out is affecting my enjoyment of the book. And it's like, geez, freaking Louise, get into it. Let's just read. Let's just read. So I've been forcing myself to read, but like in a way that's probably healthy and good for me, you know? Though, I mean, on another note, if you want to hear about my life, I have become obsessed with diamond painting, like obsessed. So I did buy some on Amazon because the one I had that I like started with, I'm almost done with. So I did buy this one. How cute is that? How freaking cute is that? And then I bought like some like European like cityscape ones. There's actually 4 of them. They're like a group of 4 that go together. I started doing one of them already. Like I said, I'm literally addicted. It's been my favorite no screen activity lately, which reading should be, but like no, this has topped it. This is like, ooh, I love it. It brings me joy and I can't even begin to like explain. I think that's all I have to say for right now, but I will continue keeping you updated as I read, and hopefully soon, with the magic of video editing, you will see me finishing Magnolia Parks. Looks crazy. It's officially been literally a whole week since I started this video, but I am pleased to announce I did finish this behemoth of a book. I finished Magnolia Parks. I ended up binging like the last like 250 pages probably last night. I literally like made cookies, and thank God I set timers for when they were in the oven and when they were cooling and stuff. However, once they were all cooked and I turned the oven off, I walked back here and was like, oh, let them cool for a little bit and then I'll like put them all away. No, babe, I forgot about them for like hours because I was just reading. As far as my thoughts about Magnolia Parks, I do think that like when I started reading it consistently instead of putting it down for months at a time in between like reading it, the story obviously felt like it went a lot quicker. So I'm struggling with like a rating because the first part of it felt so long, but it's like, no, I'm not sure if it was actually long. I think it just felt long because it took me 6 months to read. And then the last part went by really fast because I read it quickly. But I did go ahead and go into Storygraph and give this 4 stars for now. And I may change that. I don't know. I did love it, truly. It made me very emotional. Emotional? It made me very emotional. That's the word, yeah. I don't know what I'm on about, it's too early. I always film clips bright and early in the morning, that's why I look crazy. Though I am, now that I'm done, very excited to consume Magnolia Parks content and not be afraid of spoilers. You know what I mean? Like I can follow Magnolia Parks Closet back on Instagram. I can search Magnolia Parks on TikTok and watch TikToks if I want. I'm very excited for that part of this, to be honest. The one thing I will say, I'm terrified. I'm terrified for the next Daisy Hates. I don't know, something is not right in the world of the gang lords of London, and I'm terrified to get into that in a book, and I don't want to know what's happening. I'd much rather leave it like, we don't know, but everyone's safe, everyone's fine. No, because the second that Daisy Hates book comes out, everyone's in danger. All that being said, I literally came on here just to tell you I finished Magnolia Parks. We're moving forward with this video. So the last 2 books that I wanted to read are these 2. So it's The Picture of Dorian Gray and Everything is Tuberculosis. These are both real shorties. I am gonna start with The Picture of Dorian Gray, and my logic behind that decision is that I'm really excited for Everything is Tuberculosis. And so I'm figuring if I read Everything is Tuberculosis first, I'm actually just gonna procrastinate so hard on this one I never pick it up. Whereas if I read this first, I'm still gonna be excited for Everything is Tuberculosis, and then I'm gonna pick it up anyway, and then we'll finish all 3 books for this video. Are you catching my drift? Like, does that make sense? I feel like it makes sense, but I don't know. So that's my logic. I actually know nothing about this. I haven't read a classic in a long time, so this will be interesting. I just read the blurb on the back, and the way I fully, like, I don't know what I thought this book was about, but not that. Not what it's actually about. It's not what I thought it was about. So I'm gonna start this. My copy is 200 pages. So I'm just gonna like dig right in. It's on my list to start it. So I'm gonna spend the next little bit reading it. Hello. I do look a little crazy if we're being honest with ourselves. I got vaccines yesterday and they're kind of kicking my booty, but I'm using my time, my like lazy time that I'm having, that I need to have to heal my body. I'm using that to read. So I am reading The Picture of Dorian Gray. I'm really hoping to finish this today. That is my main goal, is to get through this today. I am only like, I'm less than 50% through. I'm on page 85. I've been reading it in like increments between, but I've been like reading it and then watching booktube on my TV, going back and forth. My thoughts so far on this book, honestly, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm very interested to see what happens. I'm not bored, I'm intrigued. It's getting a little long-winded at times, but I do think that it like often is going over my head, and that's why it feels long-winded. I'm not like a classics person, so this is like pretty new to me, and I'm just trying this one out. Feeling very productive though, reading this book I have been putting off for so long. When I finish The Picture of Dorian Gray, I do have Everything is Tuberculosis sitting right here, so I can pick this up and start it as well, because this is the last book that I've been putting off. And I'm tired of putting books off. I'm tired of being behind on my reading goal. I'm tired of putting books off. I'm tired of all that. That's why I'm sitting down today and like setting timers, and I'm determined to finish The Picture of Dorian Gray. I did want to go to Half Price Books, but I'm not letting myself do anything until I get to 50% of the way through this book, because this book will be finished today. Mark my freaking words. I'm finishing it today. Okay, I fear I have moved, but this is the same angle we were at before. And I haven't moved much because I don't feel well. However, I did just completely, well, not really. I read like the first half of this earlier this afternoon, and then like 6 p.m. or so I started on the second half, and I just like sat down and finished it in one sitting. Don't clown on me, I know this is clown behavior. I feel exactly like I did when I read The Great Gatsby, which was like, dang, who was gonna tell me this book had plot? Who was gonna tell me there was like, I was missing out on big plot? And that doesn't make any sense, and I'm aware of that, because obviously things happen, it's a book. I know a lot of it went over my head, so I'm not gonna give it like a rating right now by any means. I am craving like a brain dead read, if we're being honest, but I do have Everything is Tuberculosis, and that was the next thing I wanted to read. Anyway, I'm still ill from my vaccines. I have been diamond painting, laying and moaning in pain, and reading all afternoon and all evening. I came into my kitchen for this update, mostly because I've been on the couch reading for a while now, and I needed to refill my water bottle. But I wanted to update you on Everything is Tuberculosis, which just looks like this naked, which is kind of a tragedy, honestly, but also, are you supposed to make a book about a deadly disease pretty? I don't know, probably not. However, as you can maybe see here, I'm annotating it because there's some crazy lines in here, which I should have expected, and I definitely did expect because I got out the annotating supplies before I started. I'm addicted to this book. It's the way John Green writes, it's the topic, it's him and his personality that he injects into this. It's the way this is a history book without being a history book. It's the way it is an analysis of all things human. This is shaping up to be a 5-star read. But as a friend once told me, nothing is so privileged as thinking history belongs to the past. Or, looking at history through any single lens creates distortions because history is too complex for any one way of looking to suffice. And honestly, as a person who is interested in history and cares about the world, it's so interesting. Also, they talk about John Keats, or he writes about John Keats a little bit, which, if we're gonna like be freakazoids over here, I am a big John and Hank Green fan. Like I said, I'm a nerd fighter for life. So when he starts talking about John Keats and then he throws in his last words, my chest of books divide amongst my friends. Yeah, I had a little moment with that one, as you can see. I was like, ah! Because also, what an iconic last word. My chest of books divide among my friends. Because he had nothing else to his name. Me. Girl, what is to my name besides my books? So, I am like 37% of the way through, I think. I'm on page 75, chapter 8. I just want to devour this whole book. And nothing's stopping me per se because I really am in a reading mood. And I want to read this book. So nothing's stopping me. And I apologize if you see bugs flying around. My 2 things for tonight are read Everything is Tuberculosis and go for a run. And right now it's still too early to go for a run because it's 5 p.m. and it's 82 degrees out. I need to wait till 6:30 or 6:15 probably to go for a run. So I guess I'll just keep reading. I don't know. Well, there's nothing else for me to do, you know? Like, this is my calling. Like, to read the work of a person who cares so deeply about other people, it's astounding. I can't put into words how much I adore John Green's nonfiction. And even some of his fiction, I love. But we don't need to get into that relationship over there. We'll just keep it with the nonfiction over here. But, yeah, that's my update. I just want to hop in here and update everyone about where I'm at. I'm still reading Everything is Tuberculosis. This is me sitting down to finish it. However, I am on page 116, chapter 13. I have ambiance on the TV. I'm gonna turn on my little Vibey light. I'm gonna put my freaking phone down because I have been on the screen doing nothing for too long now. Like, I've been, ooh girl, I gotta stop. I need to stop. And I have my annotating supplies. Got everything I need on the couch. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read the last like 90 pages, 80 pages of this book. And I'll let you know what my thoughts are, I suppose, when I finish it. It's been a couple days, but I literally needed like 6 business days now. It's not about 6. I needed like a full business day to recover from this book. I don't mean this lightly. This review is not an exaggeration, okay? I'm about to give you my review of Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. And this is not an exaggeration. This is the best book I have read all year. This is my favorite book of the year so far. This may be my favorite book of the last couple years, actually. Absolutely 6-star read. Like, above and beyond everything I've read this year. And so I didn't really talk about what it's about. The title kind of talks about it. It's a nonfiction book about tuberculosis and the cultural and societal and social impacts of tuberculosis and the timeline of fighting and finding cures for and all that jazz for tuberculosis. It's very short. I think this was the perfect nonfiction book. I am on the hunt for other nonfiction books that are exactly like this book. And I know, because John Green is one of my favorite people on earth, that I'm never gonna find something that's not written by him that's exactly the same. But the format is something I'm looking for, because like I said, short, it's the perfect amount of detail and in-depth without going too far and losing me and getting boring or convoluted or anything like that. It gives me exactly what I need to know in a very concise way and a very entertaining way with a narrative through it. And I'm hunting for more nonfiction books like that. And I think, I hate to say it, as someone who studied history, I'm not gonna call myself a historian, but as someone who studied history for a while, I fear that like a history book written by a historian is too much. A historian loves to go on and on. A historian is gonna give you, like a classically trained historian is gonna give you the citations, the details, the nuance, the everything in a very drawn out way. They want to give you every single aspect of the story all in one go. They want to give you every part of it. They're going to give you everything. They want to talk about it. They want to go on and on and on. That's, I think, the beauty of this book is that John Green is not a historian. He's not a journalist. He's not a politician. He's not a political scientist. He's none of these things. He's just a person who writes well, writing on topics in an educated way. And I think that is what changes the game with this book. So until he writes another book, I'll forever be on the hunt for another book just like this about any topic. If you have any recommendations, I'm willing to read it on anything, really, because I mean, I have no ties to tuberculosis and I read this. So I will say, as a warning, I was ugly sobbing at the end of this book, like gasping for air sobbing. That's a warning for that. If you are anything like me, watch out. My boyfriend read it a little bit. He also read it this month, I think, or last month in September, and he also cried a little bit. I think I cried a lot more because A, I'm more emotional, and B, I have a lot of ties to John Green in my life. And so the callbacks to parts of his life that I know about and parts of the community that he's created really got to me. That's my thoughts on Everything is Tuberculosis. This is the stack of books I read in this video. I was procrastinating making this books I'm procrastinating video. I feel so accomplished now. I feel amazing. I feel like I could read anything. I highly encourage everyone to read the books they're procrastinating because I feel wonderful. With all that being said, I gotta head out. I'm getting a phone call. I gotta go. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with another one shortly, and I'll see you later. Bye.